Shalom, everyone. Today we're going to look at the word Kabbalah. Kabbalah, of course, is the word that is used for approximately the last 1,000 years to describe the Jewish mystical tradition. Kabbalah comes from the word lekabel, meaning to receive. So Kabbalah is the received mystical tradition. But the same word, the same root word, kabel, has another meaning, and that means to make correspondences, to make parallels. Where we see this is in the construction of the tabernacle, the Mishkan in the desert, where there were curtains. And these curtains had 50 loops on each side, and they had to be held together by clasps. And in the Torah it says that you should make makbilot halulaot. You should arrange the loops so they're in exact correspondence one with the other, with 50 on one side, 50 on the other, and that the clasp would hold them together. Now, an example is, I'm sure everyone's had this, when you're trying to, let's say, button a shirt or a blouse, and you're doing it quickly, and then you look down and you realize that you didn't put the buttons in the right buttonholes. They're not corresponding exactly. So in the Torah, the root word kabel is never used in the sense of to receive. It's always in the sense of making one-to-one correspondences. And therefore, that is what Kabbalah is. Kabbalah is the sensitivity, the type of learning, the wisdom of learning to see correspondences between words, between numbers, between ideas, verses, stories, and virtually everything in the universe, to see how everything is connected. Later, it says that when you unify these curtains, then it says, V'haya ha-mishkan echad, and then the Mishkan will become one. And that is the ultimate goal of learning Kabbalah, is to see the oneness of God in everything, the unity, how everything connects, everything corresponds in the bigger picture in one great unity. Now, the numerical value of the word Kabbalah is 137. And we see that there are two, call it, themes or strands that run through Kabbalah, two different ways of thinking or experiencing. One is, as we mentioned, the wisdom to see correspondences, to make connections. Sometimes they're obvious, sometimes less obvious. But the type of wisdom that we're talking about is not just a book knowledge. It's drawing down a higher divine wisdom into human consciousness. So Kabbalah, even though it is a mystic tradition, is actually very logical, very organized. It is based on models and paradigms of making correspondences between different concepts. And that's where numbers come in very strongly. If you have 10 of one concept and 10 of another concept, then we see and work to find the correspondences, and from that, new insight comes to us. Along with this wisdom, in Hebrew, wisdom is chachma. Chachma equals 73. The other energy of Kabbalah is it is a mystic tradition, and therefore it transcends logic and wisdom, Even though Kabbalah is based on logic and wisdom, there's an element of spiritual experience that supersedes just normative intellect or normative wisdom. And that is the idea of nevuah, of prophecy, or also what we'll call divine inspiration, Ruach HaKodesh. So Kabbalah is a very experiential kind of learning where we not just learn things, but we experience them. And so if you put these two words together, nevuah equals 64, and chachma equals 73. Prophetic experience and wisdom together, 64 and 73, equal 137, the number of Kabbalah. This is an insight from Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg. Added to this, if we're looking for correspondences, especially in our day, we look for correspondences within Torah, but also those kinds of parallel learning between secular knowledge and Torah wisdom. And so it just happens, I'm saying it just happens, but it's a great providence here, that perhaps the most important number in science, especially quantum physics, is the number 137, the same as Kabbalah. 137, 1 over 137 is what is called the inverse of the fixed structure constant. It's also called alpha, and it's the fundamental coupling constant of nature. What it is, in short, it's the ratio, the relationship between various particles within the atom and the electromagnetic force. And the number 137 to this day baffles scientists. They know that it's real, and that is the ratio, 1 over 137, explains these different relationships within the structure of the universe, the fabric of the universe. But it's a tremendous mystery to scientists why it's this particular number. So here we see an incredible parallel, an incredible correspondence between the secular knowledge of quantum physics, where 137 is of primary importance, and the mystical tradition, Kabbalah, which also equals 137.